Are you somebody that is working on raising their vibration? We hear a lot about this these days, about raising your vibration, or you may be thinking about, I want to start working on how I can raise my frequency. How can I feel better? How can I be in a better feeling state more? So if that's the case, this video is for you, because what I just wanted to talk about is what to expect when you're raising your vibration. Welcome to my channel, You Are The Bridge. Thank you for clicking on this video today. If you like the video, please click like, put a comment if you like, and subscribe to my channel for more of these types of videos. So if you're somebody that is working on raising your frequency or raising your vibration, what does that mean? So everything that we feel, a vibration is a feeling or an emotion, is the same thing, because we are vibrational beings, which means we are feeling beings. So when we have a feeling, no matter what feeling it is, there is an associated vibration that we offer to the universe, okay? And then that associated match to that feeling is reflected back to us from the universe, okay? So it's the idea that everything that we see around us is a match to what we're feeling within. So it's all projected outwards. It looks like everything in this world is outside of us, but it's actually a match to the frequency that we're on. We're emitting a frequency and we're getting the frequency sent back. So this is why you would want to raise your vibration. You'd want to raise your vibration because why would you not want to feel better? Okay, so everything that gives you an associated feeling is because of a perception that you've given to something. So if you label something as negative, I don't like that, it's negative, I don't like that person, they make me feel negative, you'll get an associated negative feeling, which will put you in a lower vibration, okay? So to raise your vibration, you want more elevated feelings more often. So you have to start consciously working on what perception or what interpretation do I give to this thing? What's the associated response in terms of a feeling that it gives me? What's the thought that I apply to it? And does that feel good? No. So sometimes we have certain negative feelings because we give a negative interpretation to something and it makes us feel like crap, okay? We're recognizing more and more these days that we don't want to feel like that anymore. We've got a choice. We can change our mind about how we feel. We can change our emotion anytime we want by redirecting ourselves maybe to something that makes us feel a bit better. The one thing that people seem to be practicing a lot more of today is gratitude, because gratitude really helps to elevate your vibration. And then because you've got an elevated vibration of gratitude every single day, your reality keeps, and the universe will reflect back more things for you to be grateful for. This is how powerful you are, okay? So whatever you put out, you will get that back at some point. It could be immediately, or it could be a week later, or it could be, it could be months later, but you will always get a reflection back of what you're predominantly feeling. So more and more people these days are raising the vibration just because they want to feel better. And a great way to do it is to be in gratitude every day. Notice things that you're grateful for, even the little things. So we can say, okay, how can I raise my vibration? Well, I can start feeling more elevated emotions because I choose to feel more elevated emotions. You might be having a really shitty day, but you might say, okay, to turn this round, I'm going to think of something that makes me smile, like my child or my pet, or a funny thing that happened a few weeks back or something. And immediately then, or it may not be immediate, but it gradually then you will start feeling a more elevated frequency, which is then offered out and reflected back. So if you're somebody that's working on this at the minute, or if you are thinking that you might start working on this, what I will say is what isn't always talked about. It is talked about sometimes, but this can make people think that they're not doing very well at raising their frequency. So if you're consciously practicing a more elevated frequency every day by finding better feeling thoughts, or attributing a different interpretation to something that once made you feel negative, how can I look at that differently and turn it round so that it makes me feel more positive than negative? So you're reinterpreting things and you're shining a new light on things and putting a different spin on things. And as you do that, these better feelings start coming up because what you're seeing around you looks and feels better because you've put a new spin on it or you've interpreted it differently. So as you're practicing elevated frequencies or raising your vibration every day, and you're consistently doing that as much as you can, what happens then is anything that doesn't match that higher elevated frequency that has been bubbling under the surface maybe, or completely unconscious to you, or stuck in the subconscious for a long time, as you're elevating your vibration and you're staying in that vibration more often, anything that doesn't match that elevated vibration starts coming to the surface to be seen and cleared and let go of. So if you're somebody that's saying, I'm really struggling on working on raising my vibration because I've got things coming up and they're making me feel negative. Okay, so say for example, you're working on raising your frequency and an old thought of, or you know, something that happened in the past that made you feel not so good keeps coming into your mind all the time. And you're thinking, well, how can I keep my vibration elevated if this thing that frustrated me or irritated me from the past keeps coming up into my head all the time and bringing me back down? So the important thing is to recognize when this is happening, it shows that I'm actually doing a really good job of elevating my vibration. Because what's happening is anything that doesn't match that higher elevated vibration is coming to the surface for me to look at and let go of. So instead of attaching to that negative old thought that seems to be coming in, remind yourself that is coming up because it no longer matches the higher frequency, but it has to come up and be cleared through me. So instead of looking at it and getting frustrated by that old negative emotion or thought pattern that has come up, can you look at it and say, because I'm raising my vibration, that is coming up to the surface to be cleared because it doesn't match the higher vibration, because it's a lower vibrational feeling of frustration or anger or impatience about something from the past, say. Can I look at that, recognize that thought for something that's just surfacing because I'm doing such a good job of raising my vibration that all of these things are now clearing out. But sometimes where we get a bit stuck is we cling on to that old negative thought or feeling that seems to be coming up, and then we allow it to bring us back down. So you can be the master of that and say, right, I'm going to let it come up in my mind, but I'm going to quickly let it go. Now, you may not be able to do that immediately, but if you start practicing every day, that thought's come up again, I'm going to let it go. It might come back in 5 minutes later, but you can let it go, let it go, let it go. At first, you might seem to be letting that lower vibrational feeling go every 5 minutes. But what you'll notice, as soon as you start practicing that and just letting it go, because you say, this doesn't make me feel good, so it's not serving me, I'm going to let it go. I know letting go is easier said than done, but it would just be in little bits at first. As soon as you start doing that and letting those thoughts go every single day, those thoughts that are giving you an associated feeling, in this case it might be a lower vibrational feeling, if you keep practicing letting that go every day, even if you've got to do it 1,000,000 times a day at first, you will notice that those thoughts stop coming in as much. And then you know, I'm doing a good job, I'm managing to let go, because those thoughts I'm choosing, I'm saying, do they make me feel good? No. Do I want to keep clinging on to that? No, not really. I'm in charge. I'm the master of my own reality. And I choose to not allow that thought to bring me back down again. If it does for a bit, it doesn't matter, but I can start practicing letting it go. And the more you let it go, the less it comes in. And then you know you've done brilliantly, because you're trying as best you can to keep your elevated frequency. You're raising your vibration, and at the same time, anything that doesn't match that higher vibration that may be coming up to the surface to be cleared, you know, right, I know now that I need to let that go. I don't have to attach onto it, subscribe to what it's trying to tell me and allow it to bring me back down again. But it is a practice. So at first it might seem a bit tricky, but you can do it. And what some people say as well is, how can I keep my vibration high when people keep triggering me? and people seem to be triggering me more than they ever have these days. It's the same thing happening. What is within is projected without. So as you're raising your frequency, your consciousness is showing you everything that you may want to do an inventory of and say, do I want to be triggered by that anymore? No. So I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to interpret that person differently to how I have done before. So say it is somebody that you find is quite rude, okay, and you've said they're a rude person and whenever they speak they really wind me up. Could you put a different interpretation on that person? Oh, you know, they may be struggling themselves a little bit. They've got a wall up. So, you know, it sounds like they're being rude to me, but they're actually projecting their own energy onto me. It's nothing personal. I can be okay with that. Then they won't be triggering you as much. So that's just an idea of the things that might make you feel like as you're raising your vibration and taking a step towards feeling good, you might have a few days where you feel really, really good. And then someone comes in and triggers you and you say, well, you know, I'm obviously not doing very well because here I am back to square one in the lower vibrational feelings. So I'm not doing very well at raising my vibration. This is showing you that you are doing really, really well because all of these things want to come to the surface to be seen. They come to the surface when you raise your vibration because as you rise your vibration up and you feel a more elevated vibration, those lower things are automatically magnetized upwards as well to be cleared because they cannot exist in that higher vibration that you're feeling most of the time. So just remember that if you feel like you're taking 10 steps back and all havoc is breaking loose when you're trying to keep your vibe high, this is how it works. Your consciousness, there's an intelligence behind it. Your consciousness is showing you where you need to look at these things and say, they don't make me feel good, so I'm going to let them go. And yes, in life, there's still going to be things that happen. We might lose somebody, or we might fall down deep into grief. But as you're becoming more aware and conscious of who you are and what you're capable of in terms of elevating your own energy, you might come down into that grief and say, I need to process this. I can't keep it in because it'll just bubble up to the surface one day in the future. And it might be more difficult for me to deal with. I'm going to sit in this, I'm going to notice what this grief is telling me, and I'm going to deal with it appropriately, and then it'll be a progressive state of letting go of anything that doesn't feel good. But it's important, yes, obviously we're human, we have to feel the lower vibrational feelings as well. And sometimes there's certain times where you just can't avoid it. But there might be little more minor things that come up that you can let go of a bit more easily. Some of these lower vibrational feelings of guilt, fear, grief, things like that, they are a little bit more difficult to let go of. So it's doing it in bits, it's doing it bit by bit and just really being gentle on yourself if those very, very heavy feelings come in, and just knowing that when you're working on raising your vibration, if you feel like you're taking 10 steps back because all of these things keep trying you, then you know you're doing a good job. Keep going, because as you keep working on elevated vibrations and elevated feelings and choosing what you want to react to and what you don't want to react to, the less these things will come in. So I hope that helped, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.